as we are live right now. Hello and welcome to our Monday stream. We are back at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the boss of Weekly Hell. Welcome back. How you guys doing? I've heard many great news since last week, and I can't wait to start. I can't wait to hear what you guys been talking about, and also talk about what you guys been talking about last time. I hope that makes sense. But here we are back at it again. Before we begin, I would like to double check if our stream is doing okay. By that I meant if the audio is well, if I can't be heard, if anyone can hear me right now. I'd like to double check that. Hello, Bleached. Welcome. I've heard many great things about you, and I've heard that you were on your break, and I'd love to hear what happened. May I know why is your camera quality bad today? I do not understand what you meant by bad, but it appears that my camera is okay. It is out of focusing. I can see that. If you meant by the color, the reason why I look like that, and that is because I am not using any color correction for the camera, and that is something I'm trying to figure out. Maybe we can learn how to do that right now. Is there any way I can do that with Streamlabs? I know how to do it with my, which one is it, like OBS. OBS allows you to change color LUTs, LUTs. But I don't think Streamlabs allows you to apply LUTs. And maybe I can change it directly here. Okay, is that better? Do I look better here? Is that better? Okay, so this time I'm using a color correction for the camera, but this time it's more bright than usual. But I think that's good. I think that's good. May I know? Okay, I've read that. Yes, boss, I'm back from my break. That is good. That is great news, Bleached. I am very glad that you got home safe. We missed we missed you a lot, and we did so many cool stuff here. First of all, Chris is no longer with us. I am not sure if you have been there when Chris got fired, and still, I'm pretty sure he's watching right now. If you're watching right now, Chris, don't worry about us. We do not need you. We are doing well. In fact, we are doing much better compared to when you were here. So, there's not much else to say. Fun news, I got stitches on the break, so that's cool. Oh, I don't think that is a good news, because that sounds pretty painful if you got stitches. I hope everything is okay. Farhan, hi. Hello, Farhan. Welcome back. It is so good to see you back here. We are back. I've heard so many great things from last time. I would like to know what all happened when I was at my break. Oh, do not worry, Bleached, Mr. Bleach. We are going to provide as much information as possible. Your voice is low compared to last stream. Okay, let me... What about now? Is it better now? It appears that my monitor is doing direct monitor. So I think that's better. I hope my audio is better. Is it loud? Is it not too loud? Let me know. Fun fact, it wasn't really painful. And today the stitches was removed. Oh, that is great. That is great news. Oh, I would like to give a shout out to Joseph C for following. I do not know why Streamlabs did not do effects. Usually something happens when someone subscribes or follows me on Twitch. I would like to also look at the chat on Twitch because I am not sure if I'm getting anything there. Okay, so from Twitch, no one's there. But thank you so much, Joseph, for following. Welcome to the community. My name is, you can call me Boss, because I'm the CEO of Weekly How, and I provide quality content to the community. And we've received the first heart from Joseph. Welcome, Joseph. Thank you so much for the heart. It's a purple heart. I've heard that young kids today use purple heart to show their love to their friends, to their family, instead of the regular red ones. I'm a boomer. I've started using emojis 2 years ago when my kids started showing TikTok. But yeah, cool stuff. So many cool stuff on the internet right now. Great information. Thank you so much, Joseph, by the way. From Farhan, yeah, it's good now. Thank you so much for checking the microphone. Thank you so much for letting me know that the quality is not as good as previously. Okay, thank you so much. I always appreciate when viewers gives feedback, and that is what I appreciate the most. So thank you. It is better now, boss. So what are we going to do today? We're going to create a footer section. We're going to do that. I'm going to do that myself. And since Chris is no longer with us, I'll do everything myself again. But before we begin, before we do serious stuff, I'd like to, get to know how you guys doing, or, keep in touch, if that makes sense. First of all, we've released a new video on Weekly House channel, and I've seen that it has doing so well. So if you haven't watched it yet, perhaps I should put it in the description below, or I should put it in the chat so all of you can see it if you haven't watched it yet. But basically, it's about this new platform that Bernard received, and we're working with them, and it has been great. Honestly, there's so many cool stuff to do with them, and we look forward to give more to the community using them. It's called Platform OS if you have not heard of them. Basically, it's a hosting provider where you can, deploy your web apps. It's not like Shopify where you can only host online stores, e-commerce stuff, but you can do more than that with Platform OS. And we're working with them. Unfortunately, it was not sponsored, but we look forward to work with them more in the future. And I hope that's something that you guys will enjoy later, because I'm pretty sure that building a business, a brand with them would be beneficial, because you're not limited with features. Like, there's so many cool stuff with them, like SEO optimizations, scalability, etc. Okay. So another thing that is very cool is the fact that since you are part of this community, our community, Weekly How, shout out to all of you, it'll be much easier to work with them because, first of all, they are using Liquid, a markup language, and I am certain that most of you know it and how to use it. And second, they're using GraphQL to fetch data from their database or for the backend. And that's something that you know as well. especially if you have worked with Shopify apps and Shopify themes. If you work with Shopify themes, you must know Liquid. So it's very, very good for all of you. If you have experience with Shopify development, you'll most likely be able to use them very easily. And there's gonna be videos later on this year that showcase what it can do. But of course, there's more videos to come. We are going to be releasing more videos related to Remix, related to Hydrogen. We're working on that. And notice that we are also releasing as much YouTube Shorts these days. We're trying our best to provide quality content, but also entertaining. And maybe that's something that you have noticed these days. And we are very, very, very excited for what's to come. More stuff to come. Very, very cool stuff. I will watch the video after the stream, Mr. Boss. Thank you so much, Bleach, for staying tuned first before you shift. I do appreciate that. You are amazing. Okay. The next thing that we can talk about is Marco. Marco with the K. Please do not forget to address him properly. And I've heard that he was satisfied last time. Wednesday stream, he was very satisfied with how everything went well. Okay? Okay. So basically, most of you addressed him pretty much exactly how you should. And so many questions arrived. In fact, he was not able to do as much because of how overwhelming it is with the questions. He was overwhelmed by it, he had fun with it, and I can see in his face that he is excited to do more with all of you. Boss, I have met Marco. He is a very good person with sunglasses. Aero TK. That is a very nice comment to say. I'll make sure to forward that to Marco. Also, you forgot to spell it correctly. Good thing it is me. If it was him and you said Marco with a C, I don't know what's gonna happen. Probably he's gonna collect the 5 stones. The 5 space stones. And he will snap his fingers. And you will disappear. So be very careful with how you address Marco. It's supposed to be Marco with a K. Sorry. I got distracted. Marco with a K. Okay? Just a warning arrow. But that's okay. You are very lucky today because it is me, the boss. I am not going to punish you. It's not my responsibility to do that. In fact, I do not care at all. But the reason why I warn you is because we do not want any conflict with the community, right? Because I, in fact, know how it feels like to have a conflict with him because I have worked with him for a couple of weeks now, and I know how he acts. Notice as well, if you have watched the latest video, we worked with him with that video, and he's pretty silent. The reason why he's pretty silent in that video, and that is because someone in the building, in this apartment, in this building, addressed him, Marco with a C. He received a letter, the spelling is incorrect, Marco with a C. So he was not in a good mood to be in the video. He was not in a good mood. He tried drinking water, he can't. He spit it out because he can't stomach what happened that day. He cannot stomach what happened that day. Even water, he cannot swallow it. That is how dangerous it is to address him incorrectly. So ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to address him properly. It's Marco with a K. That is right. Also, another thing that pissed him off is that last time on his stream, the thumbnail of the video, the thumbnail of the live stream is incorrect. Let's take a look at it together, shall we? Let's open this and let's take a look at the thumbnail, okay? The thumbnail used in that video. I've heard this, one of our team members uploaded a thumbnail and it starts with a C. I cannot find it. Oh, okay. Someone have fixed it. Last time, when I looked at it, it was with a C. And now it's with a K. So, that's one of the reasons why he was pissed that time. Luckily, it got fixed immediately. Now we're good. We are pretty much good. Okay? That is true, Bleach. It is very intense to work with him, but we are having fun with him. He's a good person. He's a good employee. And he does his job pretty good. But he can be intense. I agree. From Silver Surfer, hey, what's the best way that you get your Shopify clients? That is a great question. We have our first impressive question, a very interesting question, in fact. Mr. Silver Surfer, I've heard that this is some character from Marvel. Is that correct? I've watched Marvel many years ago when I was a teenager. Anyway, I get distracted. To get Shopify clients, there are multiple ways to do that. The best way is to join the community. Okay? You can join Shopify's community, their forum, their what do you call it again? I forgot the synonym of the word forum. Where you can post questions, in the community. They do have that place where you can showcase yourself, promote yourself. I'm not sure if that still exists. Back in my day, there's a thing that we can, look for clients and showcase my abilities, etc. in the forum. Groups. That's right, groups. So there's thing on Shopify you can join. I suppose it's shopify.com/community. I am not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's another one is there's Slack. There's Slack chat groups, group chat. You can join there. The next one is by joining our Discord server. It is still a small community. We are at around 100 members. Most of us are developers, but there's also clients where you can find there. But still a small community, but we're getting there. You can join our Discord server. That's the second one you can do. A third one you can do. And next thing you can do is to, of course, build a brand. You can do that by, I apologize, build yourself your own community, your own brand. And people will get to know you, who you are, how you work, what's your work. You can basically showcase your abilities through your portfolios, through your own brand or community. Okay? Weekly House started that way. If you have not followed us for so long, Weekly House started as a portfolio for Bernard. And then we grew as a community and now we are here. So that's one of the things you can do as well. You can build your own website where you can showcase your skills, your knowledge. You can build a WordPress blog where you can write articles about your skills, or Shopify development, Shopify theme development. And you get those kind of clients when they when they search for things related to Shopify development. And when they look at your article, they will go to your homepage and they will see that it's yours. Okay? So mostly that's how we got our clients, through our own website. It's organic traffic. Very, very good. And last one is, of course, by joining websites like, what do you call that again? Fiverr, is that a thing? And Upwork. I've heard those. That's the last thing you can do to get clients. But the best way is to build your own brand. But it takes time. That's all I can say. Building your own brand takes effort and time. But the more you work on it, it'll get much better. You don't have to look for clients. Clients will go to you. From MLK88, hello, I bought your theme course on Udemy. Do you have any plans on making an app development course? Well, we did mention this a couple days ago, couple weeks ago. I believe Marco also addressed this last time. So, first of all, thank you so much for taking our Shopify theme development course on Udemy. We do appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And second of all, regarding the app development, we're still under development. It's still under development. It's still under discussion whether we'll finish it or not. Because right now, our main focus is to provide as much consistency here on our YouTube channel in the community, so we can build a community. We cannot lie. We would like to be transparent that it can be a bit overwhelming to do all this stuff. We tried to ask Marco to do it for us, but he could not do it. He has his own stuff. I'd like to do it myself, but time is very, very tight at the moment. So we would like to push back the Shopify app development course in the meantime and focus on building more content here on YouTube. So that way, in fact, you do not have to buy the courses. You will find videos related to Shopify app development, Shopify theme development here on YouTube. So the first thing you can do, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to all of you who subscribed. And second of all, patience. I do appreciate that, like all the patience that you have towards our content and courses. We're trying our best to be consistent. We're trying our best to provide quality content, and that is why it takes more time than usual. And that is it. But thank you so much, MLK88, for the question. I do hope that you have enjoyed the Shopify theme development course. From Bleach, there's also me. There's you, of course, who knows nothing about Shopify development, but still a mod here. I mean, I do not know exactly the story myself. I do not know what happened, how you got here. But we do appreciate your moderation. We would like to thank you, of course. But also, if you have any plans whatsoever, if you decide to move on, we're not going to chain you up. Okay? I know this is a very sad thing to say, but of course, we are not forcing you to do this job. There's responsibility to moderate the community. This is something I want to bring up. That way, we avoid any conflict, and we avoid any what is the right word? Disappointments. Okay? So do not hesitate to bring up questions or concerns regarding your personal life. Maybe you'll be more busy next week or next month. That is why we do not worry too much, or we do not force you to do moderation here. We're trying our best to give you the space that you need so that you can live your own life. But that is it. Okay? It does not mean that we do not need you. It just meant that we do not force you to do this. We appreciate the efforts that you did to the community, how you maintained it, how you moderated it. It meant so much to us. So you will be one of the legends when our community grows. So thank you so much for the efforts you did, Bleach. We'll be always here for you. Okay, well, did I miss something? We discussed the new video. We discussed future plans. We discussed what happened. Did we discuss what happened last time with Marco with the K? I believe we did, right? I also reminded you that addressing him incorrectly would be a dangerous action to take. But other than that, it was a great week. I had so much fun as well watching it. Had a good time this weekend too. I spent my time with my family, with my kids. And they're really good, and they're growing up so fast, very, very fast. And my wife is very happy. That's just something that I'd like to bring up. A happy family brings a happy community. That's something I would quote on my grave. If I ever die someday, that is the quote I'll put. A happy family is a happy community. Don't steal that. That is mine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We are going to start with the actual content. So, if you do have any questions, if you do have any suggestions, requests, what you would like to see tonight, do not hesitate to put them in the chat and we'll cover them. Okay? Great. Now, before we begin, I would like to get some water because I don't think I do have a water here. And my throat is already at risk. While you guys are waiting, don't hesitate to put questions if you have. Okay, now without further ado, let's begin by opening VS Code and continue what we did last time. I've heard that Marco with a K worked on the navigational bar, which I asked him to do, and he did it. So I am very, very happy that he did that himself. Because I do not want to cover that and do a part 2 of it. As much as possible, I'd like to focus on new stuff instead of the old stuff. You know what I'm saying? And here we are. We are back here in VS Code. So the next thing we're going to do is to push all these changes, and I believe this is related to navigational bars, and therefore we are not going to keep this. So what we want to do is push this to our repository. Once again, the GitHub repository is in the description below. You can always check that. So we'll do navbar with drop down. I believe that's what happened last time, right? With drop down animation. I believe that's what he did last time. Correct me if I'm wrong. But let's just commit that and push that to the development branch. There you go. Okay. Let's close all of this. And then we are going to open the sections folder and we're going to create a new section. And that's going to be the footer. That is the theme of tonight's live stream. We are going to create a footer section where users can, or the merchants can add links, logos, the footer section, basically. You know how footer sections work, right? So that's what we're going to do today. I still do not have the logo because I asked someone to do it for me and it has not arrived yet, unfortunately. So perhaps next week, that's what's gonna come, hopefully. But for now, let's move on without the logo. What we can do is we can start the Shopify theme dev and we can run. We do not have the npx command here. That is okay. Npx tailwind, CSS, and then the input, obviously, is going to be the src, and then the tailwind, the CSS. And the next one, the output, we'll send that to the assets folder. And the file name is called, I believe, theme.css. That's right. Theme.css. And we'll use the watch flag so that it keeps on watching the changes. Okay? That is it. Delete config. Let's just wait for it to synchronize. I believe it has not synchronized everything. Unless I missed something. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Let's open VS Code here. Okay. There you go. Oh, it appears that it has not done the mobile version of the navigational bar. That is okay. That is okay. But we do have this. And now, okay. That is impressive. I like that. I like that he did that. I also noticed that it's no longer moving the content of our template. So that's good. So we now have this amazing looking navigational bar. But we still don't have the mobile version of it. And that is okay. We'll move on from there. So the next thing we're going to do in this specific live stream is to create a new section inside of the sections folder, and we'll call it footer.liquid. Okay? Okay. And now we can minimize this and we can move to the layout. And inside the theme.liquid, we will use the footer. Okay? From ZWinner. ZWinner, hi. Hi, welcome back. Who are you? I don't know if that is I don't know if I should take that in a wrong way or seriously. Because the first thing you addressed me as boss, which is correct, and then the next one you addressed me with, who are you? I don't know if that's a joke. Should I laugh or not? Because I am the boss. Okay? You addressed me correctly. So congratulations for that. This is not a mistake. It's good. Thank you for addressing me right. But I should not care, honestly, because I'm not Marco. Marco would care. But thank you so much. Hi, welcome back. It's good to see you here again, ZWinner. You're one of our coolest member here in the community. Sorry if you're late. No, do not be sorry. It is fine. First of all, it is fine. Do not have to say sorry if you are late. Besides, we just started. Okay? We're just 30 minutes. 30 minutes streaming. Everything is okay. Though you have missed a couple of things that we discussed earlier about the plans in the future, what happened, and the release of our newest video. So I'm not sure if you have watched that already, if you have seen it, if you heard of it, but we just released a new one and we discussed it 30 minutes ago. But that is okay. You can always catch up later. You can back it off and move on. That is okay. But we just want to say welcome back. It is good to see you here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue. So, the next thing that we're going to do is to use the footer section here. But you see, a lot of people make mistakes of where to put the footer section. A lot of them make mistakes. They put it outside of the body. Some people put it inside of the body. But which one is correct? This is also one of the things that I believe Chris did not cover in the last live stream. His live stream. He did not ask good questions. Where to put the footer. Which one is good, which one isn't. He did not cover, I believe he did not cover what's the difference between defer and async. And that's what we're going to cover today. Okay? Okay. So, to answer the question, where should we foot? Funny. Where should we put the footer? It should be inside of the body or outside of the body? The answer to that is we should put it inside of the body. Okay? We should put it inside. But let's double check. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm too old for this. Okay? Where to put? Let's put Google first. Where to put footer in HTML. Okay? I said it should be inside of the body tag. But where do we put it? Where should we put the footer tag? Let's take a look here in W3 schools. Usually, they're a good reference. You see? The footer section must be placed inside of the body tag. Some people put it outside of the body tag. I do not know why, but some people does that. Okay? But let's take a look at another example. Maybe there's another example that is different from the previous example. Okay? So here, we have the HTML tag. Okay, that is good. We have the footer here. But where did he put it? He put it inside of the body tag. Still the same. And therefore, I am right. You should always put the footer tag inside of the body tag, not outside of the body tag. Why? Because the body is the body of the HTML. That's where you put your header. That's where you put your footer. Does not mean that there is a head tag, there should be a foot tag. No. That is the difference. Okay? You do not have a foot tag. There's no such thing as foot tag. There's no such thing. Unless you create that specific component, HTML component. But there's no such thing. I wish there is. It would be funny. But no, we do not have that. So, that being said, since we are now aware where to put the section, we can put it underneath of the content for layout. Okay? So we're going to use the tag section. That is right. And we're going to reference which one, which section. That's right. The footer section. And now we can save this. We can go back here and let's take a look at the footer section and say hello. Save that. We should have hello. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We now have a footer section. Now, what we can do is start working on the footer. So how can we create a footer? Obviously, you're going to use a footer tag. That is the footer tag. And this is where you're going to create the navigation, or this is where you're going to create those sections for the logo, for the menus, and for whatever you want to add at the end. Okay? But it's going to be different. In Shopify theme development, it's going to be different because here we are working with blocks, correct? Because it's going to be dynamic. It's not going to be just a regular footer that does not change. We want to make sure that merchants can add, remove things, can change things. We want to allow merchants to change the description of the footer or the logo in the footer. We want to allow merchants to change the all rights reserved text. Okay? We want to allow merchants to change the year in the copyright section. We want to make sure that merchants can change the menus or anything else. So that's the difference. How can we do that? Well, we can do that by using blocks. So it's going to be dynamic. So let's do that. Going back here, we're going to create a schema. Okay? And the name of the schema is going to be footer. And then a couple of settings that we're going to create here. But first, we're going to make sure that we have blocks. Okay? So what is the first block that we're going to create? We'll set the type to not a theme, but this time we're going to change it to, for example, let's make a simple block. Okay? Well, let's do theme. Okay. And next one is the name. It's going to be theme. Or, just to be sure, let's take a look at an example because we can get lost in the settings. So let's take a look at documentation. Let's take a look at do not have anything here. This is not what I'm looking for, but we move. We're not looking for the APIs. We are looking for the theme. Why I cannot scroll it? Let's reload. Oh, storefronts. Okay, so they have changed now. See, this is what I'm talking about. Shopify changes a lot of things, and I am not aware of it. But that's okay, we move on. So storefronts, themes. Now a lot of people will be confused now, especially in the courses. Because in the courses, we usually go to the documentation for good references, correct? But it's going to be different because previously there's app, themes, storefront, and reference, but now it's gone. So where's the themes? That's gotta be another question. The themes is now here in the storefronts. Okay. Storefront, themes, architecture, and then we'll look for blocks, section blocks. So an example of blocks is this one. Okay? So let's create a new block. What we want to do is the block type is going to be set to, for example, logo, right? It's the first setting that we can do, or block that we can do. Or let's, instead of calling it logo, perhaps we should call it image instead of logo. But as much as possible, we do not want merchants to create more than one logo. No, it's okay. We can give them freedom. And besides, this is just for educational purposes. You can do what you want. If you're following along, you can customize this to whatever you want. But the type, instead of theme, because we're not going to use global blocks, instead of theme, we're going to call this image. Okay. And then the name is going to be image. And then you can set the limit to however you want. How many image blocks can the merchant use? Do you want the merchant to only use one image block? Then you can set this to 1. You can set that to 1. If you want it to be unlimited, then you do not need to add the limit tag. Okay, but let's move on. Let's proceed to settings, and this is where we're going to create a new setting, and we'll call it, it's going to be image. And then I believe we made a mistake. It's not supposed to be that. Type, header, content, image, info, image. Okay, let's create a new setting. Type, text, but there's no type image. What are the types that we can use? So the image is not there. Oh, it's image picker. That's the reason why we are not getting it. Okay, so another thing that you can do is to hover this. You should be able to find the list of type that you can use for this attribute. So for example, you make a mistake, right? Like that. You can hover it and you should see the list of types. So we're looking for the image picker. It's right here. Should be image underscore picker. And the content, it's not part of the image picker. What we're going to use is the ID. Okay. So the ID, we'll set it to image. Last one is the label. We'll set it to footer, or just call it image, it's fine. And then last is the info. You can call this whatever you want. You can put anything here. So this is for uploading image in the footer. Very, very bad description, but we move on. So now we have a block. Let's leave it as is for now. Okay. Later on, we're going to create more blocks. Another is the settings. What we're going to do here, so we're going to create a new setting. We're going to call it, we're going to give it a text type because we want to give this footer a kind of like a description. Another thing that we're making a mistake is we do not have a reference. So previously I mentioned before that we should have a Figma design, correct? I am not sure if we are opening the right one. Yes, we are opening the right one, I believe. This is the one we had before, right? Okay, so we'll use this as a reference. So here we have 4 sections or 4 parts of the footer. First part is the logo. And we have this kind of like section where the contact details is provided. Okay, good. We have the menu list, 1, 2. And we have the subscribe, the contact newsletter subscription. And the 5th is this bottom part of the footer where they're displaying the payment methods, the copyright, all rights reserved text, and social media links. Okay? So this is using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts of the footer. Have you used Docker for Shopify theme development? We have not. We have not used any Docker images or Docker setup for Shopify theme development. I personally believe that is overkill for such thing. It's a lot of setup if you do it. As much as possible, we focus on using Shopify CLI. It's pretty straightforward. And you can just directly push your project in the GitHub repository and you have it maintained over there. You can even add actions. Footer group, that is a good idea. we can use footer group to create a footer section, to have a two-part footer section. So the footer group will have this first part and the second part here. We can even do a header group because we do not have announcement bars yet. We can do that. But let's focus here in the footer. Okay? Let's do that. I'll be using Docker in my project. That is impressive. But I personally believe that is a bit overkill. It's just my preference though. My preferences are just to directly pull the GitHub repository, and that's it. Besides, we're not using any database unless you implement a backend, unless you start working with APIs in your Shopify theme project, which is not the case most of the time. It depends on your project. If your project is big, touches backend development, then you can use Docker. It's to avoid versioning issues of tools. That's fair. That's fair. But you can do that even without Docker. Okay. So let's continue here in the settings. The next thing we're going to do is since we're going to create blocks, we can create the block for the menu, for the navigation. I honestly believe we do not need to add anything in the settings. I honestly believe that we do not need settings. We just need blocks. Correct? Because everything should be dynamic. Okay. Let's try it. Let's try it. Sometimes previewing of theme won't work with installed apps, but when we use Docker, we can run theme directly with current version and installed scripts. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to say, it depends on your project. But in my case, most of the time, I do not need to do such thing because it's not a big project. Like most of the time, I do not need to install any apps, any libraries to maintain. Because we do everything from scratch. The JavaScript from scratch. So there's no such thing to, there's nothing to maintain. It's all up to you. If you start using other apps or libraries, if you add extensions, then I believe this is the time you'll have to use Docker. Yeah. But I personally don't use a lot of those. I have not encountered anything yet. Okay. Let's take a look at the footer. So the footer will have a class footer. And this is going to have a let's take a look at the src tailwind.css. And we have here the nav for the header. What we can do. Buttons component. Dear boss, you can continue this. That is adorable. I did not know this. Okay, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I did not know that Marco with the K wrote this. I was not aware of this. But this is very adorable. And I'm pretty sure he's watching right now. Marco, if you're watching right now, thank you so much for the letter. That is very sweet of you. You can continue this. Much love. Marco with a K. He had to specify the K, obviously. That is great. Okay. So he wrote a letter. I'm going to write a letter as well later on. Oh, if he's watching right now, he already is got spoiled. If I were you, Marco, stop watching right now. It's okay. You can watch this after you stream, but do not watch it from now on, okay? Can I trust you that? Can I trust that you're not gonna watch after this? Huh? Okay. I think I trust you. You're not gonna watch anymore. I saw that the viewers decreased by 1, so perhaps he's no longer with us. That's what I believe. Okay. So I'm going to write a letter, like what he did. I'll leave it here because that is very adorable. Next time I'll read it again. Brings butterflies in my stomach. Okay, let's create the footer component. Let's add a new tailwind component by using the layer. Okay, layer. There's going to be components. And we'll do the same thing. We'll copy this, we'll paste it here, and we'll just continue the letter. Dear Marco, with a K, I do really appreciate the letter that you wrote. Therefore, I will send flowers to your apartment. I hope that by the time you have read this, you got the flowers. Also, we are proud of what you did. We are grateful for all the work that you gave us, you did. Okay, much love. Truly yours. That's bad. Love the boss. The boss with the T. Get it? Nah, it's bad. Just the boss. It's very unprofessional if I do the T. He'll find it offensive. Okay, so we got that. Now we can start writing the footer class. So do footer. You can even do footer.footer. I know that's repetitive, so let's just get rid of this. And here, what we got here is a background color, and we'll do the one that we have here in Figma file. Okay, so what is the color here? I do not know what's the color here, and therefore we are going to use inspect. Is there any way I can do inspect? I cannot right click my browser. There we go, inspect. This is usually how you should do it, okay? If you're looking for like color or something, you can go to the inspect elements and just type here in the element.style, color, space, and just select whatever and click this box and make sure that you use the color picker and just hover here, select that, And voila, you now have the color, the hex. You can copy that, go back to VS Code, and just paste the hex here. There we go. Now we have the color. And now what we can do is add a padding, 1 rem. That's it. And that's it. What we want is, though, we want to put the footer here. So how can we do that? We can do position instead of relative. We can do absolute, not absolute. We want to make sure that it does not stick. Let's do absolute. Let's try this. And then bottom, 0. And now let's save this. Let's do ampersand. There we go. Now we have here our navigation, our footer. Sorry. Let's close this. We do not need that. We want to make sure that the width is 100%. There we go. Now we have here the footer. We also want to make sure that the color is set to white. Of course, right? Because we're not going to be able to see what's in there if the color of the text is black, obviously. So let's type hello. Now we should have hello here. Great. Now we're making progress. So now let's try to display a block. Okay, can we do that? Well, let's take a look at the theme editor first. Let's open the theme editor. Where's the theme editor? Cannot find the link for the theme editor. It's not it. Where's the theme editor? Where's the link for the theme editor? Well, that is not great because we need the link. So let's just restart the Shopify CLI. Let's see. Okay, so we got the URL here. Let's open that. Okay, let's log in. Remind me next time. We do not need to go through that. Okay, so let's take a look at the theme editor. So here we finally have the add section. So we can add a new section. If you have installed something, you can use that. And here we have a footer with add image. That means we have a block. Okay, great. The next one we're going to do is to create the blocks that we need for the footer. What are the things that we need? We need the image. Okay, we need a text. We need the menu or the link list. And maybe if you're so creative, you can add the subscription, the newsletter subscription. Kachidere Odume. Welcome, long time no see indeed. It has been a while. How are you doing? How's your family? How are you? I hope your health is doing okay. I hope that the weather there is okay. I hope everything is well. For all of you who's watching right now, welcome. I hope I have not forgotten to greet some of you. Let's take a break. Okay? Few minutes. 2-minute break. How's everything? Let me just double check to make sure that we have everything. Okay, we do not get anything from... One sec. Okay, Twitch is okay. I'm alright, mate. Vic is fine. Are you back for real, for real? I'm not sure I followed. I've been here for since the beginning of Weekly Howl. I'm not sure I understood. Who are you referring to? Because every Monday is the boss day, and Wednesday is Marco with a K day. Okay? That's just things that I don't think you have remembered. But don't hesitate to clarify yourself if you have any questions, or maybe I did not understand who are you referring to. But other than that, welcome back. I am happy that you are back. I'm happy that you are doing so well. So you were pretending then? Eh? I'm not sure I understood what you're trying to do, because right now I am me, the boss. Marco is Marco. Or maybe you're referring to the latest video. The guy in the latest video of Weekly Howl is Bernard. He's basically the person who manages us. He's the one taking care of us. I take care of Weekly Howl. I'm the boss, but he takes care of us. Okay? You said you got laid off though, and you wanted to quit software development. Are you referring to Chris? Do I look like Chris? I am not Chris. Chris got laid off, and that's different. Do I look like Chris? Is it the hair? Is it my forehead? I know his forehead is big. But I do not understand why you got confused. You said you're getting a new job in a supermarket. That is Chris. You're referring to Chris. I am me, the boss. Do you not see the suit? Do you not see the glasses? It's me. Am I getting trolled? What is going on? This is giving me stress for a little bit. I'm stressed right now. What is happening? Did you hit your head? I see what's happening. You're trolling me, Kachidire. You're trolling me. Or perhaps you have forgotten who you're talking to. First of all, it is me. I am the CEO of Weekly Howl, and I laid off, I kicked out, I fired Bleach. Okay? let me remind you. Remind you. Okay. Let me remind you of what happened. I'm not sure if you remember who you're talking to.
Certified Laraboy, certified PDF files. What?
This is Chris.
What? Don't fuck him up. What?
This is Chris. See? I fired him. That is my email. I emailed him. He's fired. LOL.
What the hell? Chris?
What? Do I look like Chris? That is me. That is me. Do I look like Chris? Do I look like someone who works in a supermarket? I have a watch. I have an expensive ring. I have a suit and tie. I do not work in a supermarket. That is not my lifestyle. Bro, I have money. I do not need to work in a supermarket. So you are trolling me. That is something that I do not tolerate. If you apologize right now, I'll forgive you. But right now, I am angry. I might as well end this stream right now because I'm pissed. I'm pissed. This is not something I tolerate. This is beyond disrespect. I do not look like Chris. Chris is wearing a jacket, a cheap jacket that he bought. He bought that in what? Second-hand shop. With that jacket. He's been wearing that since 2017. I bought this 2 months ago. This suit that I'm wearing right now. This tie. I do not look like Chris, okay? Chris is this guy, cheap looking guy, and this is me. This is me. This is how I look. I do not look like this guy. Very, very different, okay? Okay? In fact, we're very different. Very, very different. The way we talk. He's dumb. He can't speak English like perfectly. He can't speak French. I mean, I can speak a little bit, but he cannot speak French. He cannot speak English. He's stuttering a lot. He's so bad in making content. And that is why we fired him. And that is why we laid him off. Because his skill, it does not matches the quality is not being reached. Here at Weekly How, we provide high quality information and work. But we cannot push our limits if we are working with someone like him. And therefore we fired him. And maybe that's one of the things that you're confused about. I know. A lot of people make mistakes, okay? They think that, oh, it's Chris. Because a lot of people think that we look the same. That's the part I do not understand. They think, oh, that's Chris. He looks the same. Is it the forehead? Is it the hair? Do I need to change my hairstyle? We do not look the same. Okay. Anyway, I apologize. I get heated up for a moment. That's not what I'm trying to do. As much as possible, we try to be professional here. I apologize, okay? Apologize. Now let's continue. Let's focus on what matters the most. Matters the most is you're fine. I'm glad that Vic is fine. Victory, okay? That's all good. All good. We good here. I'll forget that you thought I'm Chris. But that's it. That's not gonna happen again. I should introduce myself all the time, should I? I should do that. I thought it was always clear the me is me, but it appears that it isn't. So, I'll keep what happened in mind. Let's go back to what matters the most, and that is the project. Okay? So now here, we have the footer section, and we can add image. We still don't have anything here. We can add as many images as we want. We can delete it. We can even order it. Perfect. So now let's go back to VS Code. Not that. We're referring to VS Code here. And then let's do a for loop. All of the blocks that's being used here, because currently we have used an image block here, but it does not display anything here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So let's go back to VS Code, and here, instead of displaying hello, we're going to create a for tag, and we're going to iterate through the section blocks, because in the section, in the schema, we can use the section that blocks. Okay, we can even use the section that settings. The section object, you can only use that in a section file. It's one thing that you need to keep in mind, okay? Section have section objects. Article template have article object. Product template have product objects. That is things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to Shopify theme development. Okay, there are templates that you can have specific object. In our case, since we're working with section, we're working with footer section, we can use section to access the blocks, to access the footer settings. Okay, so for each item, for each block, in the section dot blocks, we're going to check the type of the block. Which type are we talking about? Which type are we referring to? The type is this. Okay, the image. So we're going to check if the block, the type is equal to image. If it is, then we'll display something. Okay, let's do that. Here, let's create an if block the type is equal to image, then we're going to display something. Okay, so let's say we display a text like this is an image. Okay, and then let's add another else. Let's add an else to see what happens if it is not an image. Okay, let's do span, and we'll do this is not an image. Let's save that, and now we can go back the theme editor right here, reload the page. Let's reload it, and now if we add an image, we should have this as an image, but we don't have another block to see the result of the this is not an image. So let's create a new block. Okay, here, let's create a new block, and this time the type is going to be it's not going to be an image, it's going to be a text. Okay, and we'll name this text, and then the settings, we'll create a text type setting, and then the default is going to be lorem ipsum, and then the ID is going to be text, and then the label is going to be text with an uppercase T, and then that's it. We do not need to add placeholder. That's not necessary. But let's save this. Now, if you save that, and let's save this too, and let's reload, or we do not need to reload it, in fact. Notice now it's using add block. Previously, it was add image. The reason why it is now add block, and that's because now we have two blocks. If we click this, notice now we have image and text. Okay? If we click the text, what do you think is gonna happen here in the footer section? What do you think is gonna happen? Okay? If we click the text here, what do you think is gonna happen here? In the bottom. Is it going to display this is an image and another this is an image, or this is an image and then this is not an image? What do you think? That's right. It's going to display this is an image and this is not an image. So let's try to add a block. There you go. So this is an image and this is not an image. Why? The reason why we have this now, and that's because the type is different. The first type is image, the second type is text. Therefore, this condition right here, because we have two blocks now inside of the section that blocks. So we have an array of objects, right? We have the type image, that's the first array. And we have the second one, which is the text. Okay, so the first loop goes here, checks if the type is image. It's true because it is an image, so it displays this is an image. Next loop is the type text. Condition, if block the type, which now is now it's text. It's no longer an image. Therefore, this condition is going to be false. That's right. Because type text is not equal to image. Therefore, it's going to this is not an image. Okay. So since we have that, it's not very efficient to use if, because you will have to use else if to check. Okay, you're gonna need to do this else if and then block the type is equal to what? Text. You're gonna need to do that. It's okay for more readability, but for developer friendly, it's not efficient and not really good. So usually for blocks, we use a switch tag or a case, okay? So we can use the case, and the condition that we want, or the variable that we want to use for this case tag is the block dot type. That is right. And the condition is when the block dot type is equal to image, that's right, we want to display an image tag, obviously, right? So we're going to create here the block dot settings dot image, and then we're going to use the image tag. That's it. But what does it return? So the image returns an image, but we need to make sure that we turn it into an image URL. So we pass here another filter, going to be the image URL, and the width we'll set that to 240. That's fine. Okay. And the response of this filter will be passed to the image tag. That's good. Else, we return nothing. We're not going to return anything. Or you can create another when. So you can add another when here. When the type is equal to text, then we'll display something here like a div, and just render render the block.settings dot text. That's it. So let's go back. Let's back off a little bit. Let's go back here. So for each block, that section that blocks, we check the type. If it's block type image, we display an image tag. When the block.type is equal to text, we display a div with the block settings.text. How did we get the block settings, by the way? What is the block.settings? It's different from the section.settings. Okay? A lot of people get confused by it. Like, where did we get that? Because look, for each block, we have a setting. Remember? It's not the same settings that we have here. We do not have any settings for the footer. This is section settings. This is block settings. Section settings, the one you're seeing here, and this is block settings. That's the one we are using here. So now, if we try and save this, and if we go back to here, reload the page, this time we're using image, but we have an error. So further line 5, invalid URL input. So what is the response of the image URL? Let's take a look at it. Okay, let's take a look. Let's get rid of the image tag first. Let's save it. Let's go back here, reload the page. Still the same. Invalid URL input. What is the response of just the image? Nothing. But we can get, I believe, the URL of this. Nothing as well. Oh, the reason why there's no response, and that is because we do not have anything. Okay, we do not have anything for the image. So if we go back here, there's no image, correct? That's where we're getting this. So let's fix that by selecting an image. There we go. Now we have a URL. Okay, let's save that. Let's go back here, reload this page. We should have a URL, and now we can use the image tag. There we go. And now we have the image. Okay? Perfect. Next one is the text. Let's go back to the theme editor. Let's add a block and use the text. And now we have lorem ipsum. And if we click this and change something here, notice that the text is updating. There we go. So that means the blocks are working. We now have the blocks. Can go back here. We have the image and we have the text. All good. So that is how you render the blocks from your sections. Any questions? We still have 30 minutes to finish this. I believe we're gonna make it. I believe we are going to make it. So let's go back here. We're going to check if the image is empty. That's very important because when we add things in the footer section, by default it's going to be empty. So we want to make sure that we check if the block.settings is set. Okay, so we're going to check if block.settings dot image set. If it is, put it here. Okay? Otherwise, we'll display an empty image. For example, we can create an image tag, or we can use a placeholder. So we can do product1 and supposed to be placeholder SVG tag with the width of 240. I believe that's too big, in fact. So let's reduce it to 140. Same thing for the image URL here. But that's too big. Okay, so that's much smaller. Good. And now, let's try to check what happens if there's no image. So going back here, if we remove this, we should have something here. Notice there's something here. We cannot see it. Okay? We cannot see what's in there. Something here. Notice. So let's see what will happen. Let's go back to, where's the documentation? I believe I have a documentation here. Let's take a look at the placeholder SVG tag. This one right here. Let's look for another example. Image. Let's use image instead of product1. Let's do image here. And what are the attributes that we can use for the class or for the filter? String. It's custom class. Okay, so I believe we cannot use width. We can only use a class here. So let's set the footer placeholder image. Okay, let's save that. And then let's open the tailwind.css. And here we're going to create footer and then the footer hyphen placeholder image, and we'll set the width to 100 pixels. And now it should be smaller. We want to make sure that the background color is set to white. There we go. Now we have a placeholder when there is no image attached to that block. So let's try and reload this and start from the beginning. Okay, so there's no image. We have a placeholder SVG tag. And if we apply an image to this, now we have that image. Perfect. All good. So for now, let's leave it like that. That's going to be the logo at the moment. The next thing we're going to do is to organize this, because right now it looks really bad. Okay? It's not very organized like how I wanted it to be. So I want the logo to be here and description, and then I want the menu links here. How can we do that? Well, we need to divide it. We cannot just put the for tag, all of the for tag here. We cannot do that. We want to create different for tags for the section. Okay, so this is going to be the left one. We'll divide by 3. The left, the center, and then the right. Okay, that's how it's going to be. So let's create a div with a flex, and then it's going to be justify between, and the align is going to be start. Okay, and we'll give it a gap of 5. And then the first 4 is for the icon, for the logo. So we'll create a div here. We'll call it footer left. And we'll create another footer center. We'll create another footer center, and we'll create footer right, like that. And we'll put this for tag here in the footer left, and we'll create another for tag here in the footer center. But the footer center will have a different kind of for tag. It will only check the menus. Okay? It's only going to render the menus. That's the whole point of it. You cannot put images in there. So let's do that. So for each block in the section that blocks, we want to check the block, that type, and the condition is going to be when the block, that type, is equal to menu. Okay? So we're going to create another block here, and that's going to be type menu. And then the name of this block is going to be link list. We'll call it link list or menu, just for the readability, for those merchants who do not know what link list is, because usually they know, oh, it's a menu. Okay. But most developers would know link list as a list of links. So we'll call it that way, link list / menu. That's good. Settings, we'll create the type link list. Okay, looks like we made a mistake. There's no such thing, but maybe it's called something else. Text area, it's link underscore list. So link underscore list. What else do we have here? ID, we'll set it to footer link list. And then for the default, we want to use the main underscore menu. Wrong. That is not what we want. We want to use the footer. Where can we find the footer link list? We can go back to the admin. In the navigation, there should be footer menu. By default, all Shopify online stores will have footer menu. Okay? By default, they will have main menu and footer menu. They do not need to create this. And Shopify will do this automatically. So we have footer. Okay? Same thing with the main menu. It's by default there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the footer menu. Okay? So by default, the value of link list is footer. What else? The label, of course, is going to be link list. Let's save that. And now, can go back here in the theme editor. Let's reload. Let's open the footer, add a block, and now we have a link list / menu. If we click that, open the setting, by default it's using the footer. Good. Let's save that and let's go back here. Reload this one, but it does not render anything yet. The reason why is because we have not done anything here yet. So now we can do nav tag and do a for. So for each link in the in the block.settings dot footer link list, then we're going to create a UL. Okay, so let's do UL, and we'll put this in here, and we'll render a list. Okay, and that's going to be the block dot settings dot footer link list dot, it's wrong, supposed to be the link, sorry, link dot title. Save it. And now if we reload this page, it does not render anything. Okay, let's double check everything. So when the menu, when block type is equal to menu, we render a nav, and we'll loop through for each link in block settings footer link list, which is the ID of this block, of this setting. Then we'll render the link the title, but it appears that it's not yet rendering, or maybe it is, we just can't see it. Maybe it is, but we just can't see it. Let's take a look at the preview. Okay, let's open the inspect. Let's take a look at the footer. We have center. Okay, so it's rendering something, but it's not being displayed yet. So that means we have the UL tag, but we do not have the list. So there's a problem in the for tag. Okay, so there's another thing that I can give you as a tip. If something went wrong, you think, why is it not displaying? You can always check the elements. Look at the component. Look inside of the elements. Oh, here, it's not displaying anything. I cannot find it. Okay, so the problem is in there. Okay, in here, the problem is this. What is the problem? So it appears that for each link in block settings, footer link list, it appears that this is empty. It appears that there's nothing in here. That's why it's not displaying this. What we can do is, we can do else, and we can say, it appears that there is no link in the link list. Okay? There you go. As you can see, it appears that there is no link in the link list. That means this is not set. It is empty. So let's double check. So the menu has a setting, link list, and the ID is footer link list. We used it. We did use it. Okay, that's good. But the default footer, it appears to be empty. So let's go back to the nav. Looks like there is something there, right? So why is it not displaying the values of footer menu? Let's go back here. What we can do is we can copy this and render that object, specifically this, okay? The block.settings. Let's see what's inside of that. Okay, look. It appears that there is a footer link list, and there is an object, link list theme setting drop. So there must be something here. Oh, okay. I made a mistake because the footer link list is a drop. we need to get the links, not the link list. So we need to use dot links. Oh, there. That is the mistake. So that is how you debug stuff. If you can't see the response, you can always render that object, that setting, that attribute, and see what's in there. Like, oh, okay, I can see the footer link list here. It appears that there is a response. It's not empty. So what is the problem? Oh, okay, there is a problem in the condition. I forgot something. So that's how you debug stuff. Okay? Try to do it step by step. It's very easy to debug stuff if you do it step by step. It does not render anything. There's a problem in the condition. The condition looks okay. No, check the object. Maybe it's empty. Okay, it's not empty. It's rendering a drop though. Oh, it's a drop. So I must be using wrong. I must be using it wrongly, incorrectly. So I should use the list, the links attribute. Okay. Enough of that. Let's try and save it. There we go. Now we have the home, the search, about us, and meet the team. That is how you render those links. And that is what you can do. That's what you can do whenever you get a problem, whenever you're stuck. Okay? If you're stuck in a feature, in a loop that doesn't work, do it step by step. Maybe you forgot something. Okay? Do it step by step. That's the only tip I can give you. That will definitely help you for a very long time. Okay, perfect. So now we have rendered quite a lot of things. Okay? We can go back to the theme editor. Now we have a logo. Okay, we can pretend that this is a logo. We have a description. We have a menu. It doesn't work yet. We can fix that later. And the right side is still empty. That's what we're going to do next. Okay? So let's create a new block. So currently we have 1, 2, 3 blocks. So let's create a new block. And this block is going to be for newsletter. Okay? So type, we'll call it newsletter subscription. You cannot put space, by the way, for the types. Make sure that you set it with underscore. So newsletter underscore subscription. And the name, that's where you can use spaces. So newsletter subscription or newsletter form. Let's just make it shorter. And then for the settings, in fact, we do not need to add any settings. It's okay. You can leave it like that. Because what we want is just to display the newsletter form. And the newsletter form will take care of everything. Like sending the API, and sending the name to the API. Will take care of its own. So let's just save that. And let's go here in the div with the class footer right. And we'll do the same thing. We'll loop through the blocks. So for each block in this section, that blocks, what we can do is to check using the case we'll check the block.type, and the condition is going to be when the block.type is equal to, that's right, newsletter underscore form. When the newsletter form is the type, then we'll display something. Display here the newsletter form. Save it. Let's go back to theme editor. Let's add a new block. It's still not there. Reload. Add a block. And now we have a newsletter form here with a nice icon. And now we have here, display here the newsletter form. Now what happens if we have another menu? Let's add a new linked list. Okay, notice that now we have two menus. So that is great. It doesn't really matter where the order is. It's going to places where it should be. But for the image and this text, it's going to change the order. Okay, but for the footer menu, it's going to be the same. It's going to change the order though of these two. Right now we can't see it, but if we change the menu to something else, this one for example, if we put it above, it's going to change. Okay? So that's good. Now what about the newsletter form? It's going to be the same. Even if you move it above, below, it's going to be the same. It's going to stay there. That's fine. Okay. I guess that's pretty much it. We still have 7 minutes, but I'll decide to end this here. Okay? Because I believe we did quite good. I'm just gonna leave this here for Marco to do. I'll let him finish this. It's not gonna be difficult. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be able to make this interesting and good with his animation skill, like what he did for this drop down menus. Very impressive. Okay. But guys, thank you so much for joining today's or tonight's stream. It has been quite fast, in fact. I did not expect it to end pretty soon, but regardless, I had so much fun. I enjoyed it. On Twitch, we did not have anything else, so I can finally close this. But once again, I would like to give a shout out to Joseph for subscribing, for following me on Twitch. And I would like to also give a shout out to all of the members and to all of the viewers who stayed with me tonight. Thank you so much. And I look forward to next week. It's gonna be a very interesting week. We have quite a few projects that we're working on right now, new shorts coming, and we'll be working on a new video related to hydrogen. And we are working on, of course, the live stream with Marco. It's gonna be on Wednesday. So don't forget the schedule. Monday will be for me, your one and only boss. And Wednesday will be Marco's. Okay? I hope you guys are not sick of me yet. I know I can be a bit harsh sometimes, but hopefully you're not sick of me. I know you guys already have favorites, Marco, but I'll stay. I'm staying. The boss will stay. No one can get rid of it. Okay? Once again, thank you guys so much for staying with me. I would like to end tonight's stream. Finally end the stream with a banger. That being said, let's play a nice music to end this, shall we? Can finally close this. Finally close this. Finally close this. This one too. Did I miss something? I did not miss anything. Great, great, great. Okay, let's do a music. Not that. Not that. Nah. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining tonight's stream. This is the boss, and I will see you next week. On Monday's stream, I will be back, and say hi to Marco for me. Okay? Enjoy your time with him, and be careful, as always. Thank you, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.